Welcome, dear audience. Before we start our topic, we would like to introduce ourselves to you. And my name is Cansel, and I am from Turkey, and I live in Istanbul, and I study Çanakkale 18 Mart University, and my department is International Relations.
Dzień dobry. My name is Kerem. Yeah, yes, I'm Kerem. I'm studying political science in here. I'm studying also Çanakkale 18 Mart University. I'm from Turkey, and that's all right now.
And our topic is language and discourse in intercultural communication. And the reason why I choose this topic, because more general and also open up and promote different national, different cultures and different countries. And we thought choosing this, thought that choosing this topic and for our conference and more effective and more general. And let's continue with Kerem.
Let's start with it. I'm going to talk about firstly the importance of this topic. The relationship between language and culture is a great importance because it helps us to understand the complexities of different cultures, like language and culture that we interwoven, and each informs each other. And the language that we speak shapes the way that think, act, and the view that the world and our culture, and also it's paved the way that language that we use. And therefore, studying studying the relationship between language and culture is crucial to gaining deeper understanding different societies and how they function. And it also helps to foster the cross-cultural communication and the appreciation, which is the essential in globalized world where people from different backgrounds and must interact to collaborate. In short, recognizing the importance of the relationship between language and culture can lead to the greater mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation between different societies. And let's talk about the importance of the language and discourse in intercultural communication. Today's globalizing world, cultural diversity is increasingly taking place in our daily lives. And as a result of effective cross-cultural communication has become a critical skill in both personal and professional contexts. Language and communication style play a vital role in facilitating such successful communication between people from different cultural backgrounds. Language is not only the means that the communication, but also reflects the culture it presents. And different cultures have different styles of communication, which may involve different levels of formality, directness, or indirect, indirection. Let's give for example, like Turkish people and Turks tend to use more dignified titles to polite expressions to show respect to the others, while Americans may use more direct and understandable language to express their opinions. And understanding these cultural differences is crucial to building harmony and mutual respect between people from different backgrounds. And also the cultural differences in communication style can lead to misunderstandings and even conflicts sometimes. Because for instance, and let's give an example for that. In some cultures, silence is considered as a sign of respect. But while in the other cultures, it may be interpreted as apathy or is a disagreement. Therefore, it's essential to be aware of the adapt to the cultural differences communication style to avoid misunderstanding and misinterpretations. In short, language and communication style are very important for the intercultural communication because understanding cultural differences in a language communication styles can help foster successful communication, build relationship, and prevent misunderstanding. Therefore, when interacting with people from different cultural backgrounds, it is important to be aware of the cultural context and adapt to communication strategies accordingly. And I'm going to give the microphone to the Cansel and to presenting the second part.
And cultural features of language. Language is a tool people used to express their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. However, language is more than just a means of communication, it is also a cultural entity and an important element that reflects the culture of a society. The cultural characteristics of the language reflect many elements, such as the beliefs, values, norms, customs, rituals, and other cultural elements of a society. For example, words used in a language may reflect the values and beliefs of the society in which that language is spoken. While the word peace in Turkish means peace, tranquility, and serenity in Turkish culture, the word peace in English has more political or military meanings. Also, the grammatical structure and vocabulary of a language may reflect the worldview and the way of thinking of the society in which that language is spoken. For example, the numbers used in Japanese hold an important place in Japanese culture, and some numbers are considered unlucky or unlucky. In addition, the sound structure, accent, and tone of a language may also reflect the cultural characteristics of the society in which that language is spoken. For example, the R sound in Spanish has an important place in Spanish culture, and using the sound correctly is considered a prestigious skill among Spanish speakers. What I mean is that language is not only a means of communication, but also an important element that reflects the culture of a society. The cultural characteristics of language can reflect many elements, such as the society's worldview, beliefs, values, and other cultural elements, and differences between different languages can help separate cultures from one another. And the third part.
Let's continue about the third part and language and culture, and let's explain how language reflects, influences, and changes culture. Language and culture, two inseparable concepts. As I said, language is one of the most basic means of expressing culture, and also plays major role for the shaping the language, the whole language that I'm talking about. Many cultural norms and values are expected to reflect it through the use of language. And language is also a tool enables the sharing transmission of culture among individuals. Let's give an example for the close, like Poland and Turkey. Let's give an example like the welcome in Turkish has an important place. It has a really important place in the Turkish culture, like used by the host when a guest arrives, like these words an expression to your hospitality to your guest. And also it's similar. It's similarly in the words dzień dobry, good morning in Polish, is a very important in a daily life and is a part of a Polish culture. And in Poland, there are also special greetings words that are used according to the time of the day and the person. And for example, let's give an example for that. The dobre wieczór is used in the afternoon, is known as the evening greetings. If spelling mistake sometimes happens, I'm sorry about that. Sprechen for that. Language and also reflects the cultural values. For example, the word that family is a very important in Turkey and Turkish peoples because it's a really welcoming word for the Turkish peoples. And this word reflects is the importance of the family ties and family relationships. And also it's similarly for the word rodzina, family, is very important in Poland and also central to the Polish culture. And since family values have an important place in Poland, and they are also reflected also in the language. However, the cultural characteristics of the language can also cause the cultural to change. Like as the communication between cultures increases around the world, the language and discourse styles of different cultures may mix, and new culture may be formed. We can use we can take it about the English example, because English is a common language around the world, and cultural norms and forms of expressions may change because the cultural convergence may occur between English-speaking countries. So, language and culture are inseparably linked, and language plays a huge role in expressing and reflecting culture. The cultural characteristics of the language are shaped and reflected in accordance with the norms of the culture. However, as the intercultural communication increases, it becomes easier to express to the whole culture, we can say that.
And fourth part, and let's talk about discourse in intercultural communication. And discourse is a form of communication in which the use of language occurs within the framework of rules and norms within a particular society or group. Discourse includes the structural features of the language, the choice of words, the use of grammar, and the style of communication. Discourse in different cultures may differ depending on cultural norms, values, and communication styles. Let's examine the discourse in different cultures with examples. First example, direct and indirect expression. In some cultures, communication takes place more directly and openly, while in some cultures it is expressed more indirectly. For example, while the use of an indirect language is common in Turkish culture, a more direct language use is preferred in German culture. And second example, address and respect. In different cultures, expressions of address and respect may vary. Some cultures use more formal expressions, while others prefer more candid expressions. For example, while Japanese culture uses different forms of address depending on the age, social status, and relationship of the person, simpler and more sincere addresses are common in American culture. And the third example, silence and emptiness. Silence and emptiness in discourse are also indicators of cultural differences. In some cultures, silence is considered a time of respect and reflection, while in some cultures, silence may be perceived as uncomfortable or misunderstood. For example, in Scandinavian culture, silence is considered a natural part of communication, while in Southern European culture it is preferable to speak more. There are some strategies and suggestions for understanding and responding appropriately to cultural differences in discourse. For example, it can be helpful to research and understand cultural differences, ask open-ended questions, and understand their perspective. In addition, it should not be forgotten that the discourse used in one culture may have a different meaning in another culture.
And also let's continue about the fifth part, and I'm going to talk about and I'm going to present you about some stereotypes in intercultural communications. Then we will explain the effects of the stereotypes on a language and a discourse. In intercultural communication, stereotypes are not kind of my type because they are prejudiced beliefs that societies form by making generalizations about a particular group or culture. And it's not a good thing, I think. Stereotypes can cause misunderstandings, prejudice, and discrimination in communication. And therefore, it is important to understand, question, and scan like the stereotypes. Stereotypes are often used result for the tendency to generalize, like I said, attributing a single trait of behavior about the culture. All members ignores diversity and complexity of that culture. Let's give an example for that. Stereotypes such as Japanese are hardworking and disciplined, and Latin Americans always late are misleading. Is it true, Gabi? Are misleading and far from reflecting their reality and real cultures. And also, stereotypes negatively affect the cross-cultural communications and their influence on the language and discourse. Prejudice, lack of understanding, and erroneous evaluations may occur in communication. This can cause emotional reactions, tensions, and conflicts in the intercultural communication. And there are several strategies like how we can get rid of it, how we can combat with these stereotypes. First, it is important to raise awareness. Recognizing stereotypes and questioning our own biases allow for more open and insightful communication. And second, I can give an example for that, like it is important to empathize and be open to the other side. Understanding the perspective to the others help break the stereotypes. And third, it is important to gain knowledge about the research, and it is necessary to have a right information in order to better understand different cultures and peoples. And language and discourse, on the other hand, can spread certain stereotypes in a particular culture. For example, many people think that Italians are friendly and passionate, and many movies and television programs that supports that idea and reinforce that idea and the stereotype by portraying Italians this way. And similarly, some people believe that Germans are disciplined and tough, and this stereotype can give a negative impact on the working style and management style of the business of the Germany. And also, the language discourse can help people confirm the reject stereotypes and cultures. For example, when say someone stereotype, it is hard to get along with the Japanese businessmen because they are too conservative and traditional. This statement may accuse the other party either to accept or reject that stereotype. People who reject stereotypes can increase the cross-cultural understanding and arguing that such generalizations are false and that people differ. As a result, stereotypes can be major problem in the intercultural communication, and language and discourse play an important role in the spread of these problems. Understanding and rejecting stereotypes, it is important for better understanding, communication, and between different cultures. Tackling stereotypes leads to the deeper understanding and healthier intercultural communication. Openness, tolerance, and mutual respect is the communication help overcome stereotypes and provide a richer, more meaningful communication experience to you.
And last part, let's talk about conclusion. As a result, language and discourse are an essential component of our culture and play a large role in our communication. Language reflects cultural values, beliefs, and behavioral patterns, while discourse helps us express and understand our cultural identity. In intercultural communication, it is important to understand, empathize, and adapt to countercultures through language and discourse. However, cultural differences and misunderstandings in language and discourse can lead to communication barriers. Stereotypes, prejudices, and misunderstandings are common challenges in cultural communication. Therefore, it is important to understand and appreciate cultural differences and make an effort to maintain an environment of open communication. Good intercultural communication allows us to explore the richness of different cultures, interact without prejudice, and increase mutual understanding. Therefore, understanding the cultural effects of language and discourse and using them effectively is indispensable for successful communication in the global world. Thank you for your attention.